Driving cars everywhere. The future is full of big changes. That's according to Futurist Nikolas Badminton, and who is joining us in studio today. We've been chatting about a number of these themes, and you're saying that really 2017 to about 2025 is when we see exponential growth.
Yeah. We've already had exponential growth in technology. You know, chips are getting cheaper, computers are getting more powerful. We've got mobile computers that are like supercomputers in our pockets. But really, 2017 is that tipping point where we're going to see a lot more power coming into our pockets and into the real world.
And do you mean specifically when it comes to virtual reality in that world? Yeah,
so you know, that's the next stage, I think, for mobile is out of virtual reality. We're already seeing headsets within, you know, living rooms and for movies and for playing games. It's actually going to go to mixed reality, where we're going to mix the virtual with the real in the real world, and it goes into business and it goes into transport and it goes out onto the streets as well.
In easy to understand terms, what might that look like?
Okay, it's like you're driving down the street and your entire windscreen of your car actually is a virtual reality that promotes where you should go or the directions that you have. Or you could be in business where you actually have computer screens floating in front of your eyes instead of actually having monitors.
Wow. It sounds a lot like a sci-fi movie is becoming our own reality.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, a lot of this technology comes from like the Imagineers of the future and thinking about this and really taking that technology to the next stage needs those dreamers in the world, you know.
What are the other themes that you're seeing or that you predict for this year and the years ahead?
Yeah, I think automation is going to be huge. Artificial intelligence is getting more powerful. You can actually run it off of smaller devices now, and that's the tipping point, really. Automation, there's been a study by the Brookfield Institute over at Ryerson. Around about 42% of Canadians' jobs are actually at risk from automation, so admin assistants all the way through to like truck drivers. Yeah, and going beyond into that, I think the self-driving cars are going to be the thing that is going to be really shaking up how we get around cities and how we operate within places like Vancouver.
Yeah, absolutely. You have, you know, Tesla really making inroads with self-driving technology, and you know that also brings up the question of electric vehicles and the progression of those. How do you see that developing?
Yeah, so like peak oil and you know the gas prices that we see on the streets are kind of crazy. The idea that we can have electric vehicles by the year 2022, or so they say, actually being the same price as combustion engine vehicles. At that point, what are you going to do? I think you're going to choose electric vehicles where it's dirt cheap to basically power up and keep going, and networks of charging stations all across Canada, all across the US, and really all across the world. And Tesla's been leading that charge, but all car manufacturers are in that game now.
Do you think you'll start to see some of the larger, like the biggest automakers, the Fords, the GMs, coming out and switching to electric?
Yeah, they already are. They're already planning for it. In fact, Uber launched a pilot in Philadelphia using Ford Focuses, and that was a self-driving future electric vehicles as well, right? So I think you're going to see everyone in that game now, and in fact, a lot of large administrations of countries like Canada and the US are going to mandate that these manufacturers sort of up production and start getting them out onto the streets.
There's a moment where you sit back and you think about all these changes that are going to be happening, and it's just so fast. How do you keep up with all of it?
Yeah, well, personally, I read about 60 blogs a day, and I write and I talk to lots of people that are doing research and lots of people in companies that are leading these changes. How does the normal person keep in touch? Well, I guess they like listen to people like me and programs like this to just help really realize what's happening. And you know, the press and media are going to help us really help ride this wave of exponential change.